Okay guys, it's been a minute since I've done a little catch up with YouTube. A lot has changed in my life, and I just went on Instagram and asked everyone on Instagram, send me your questions, life updates, Secret Lives of the Mormon Wives on Hulu, the Bachelorette recap. I didn't end up doing a Bachelorette recap. To be honest, I had a lot going on. Not in a bad way or anything. Well, kind of, but not really. I don't know. I had to get some medical stuff done. Like nothing too crazy, nothing to be alarmed about right now, but just some proactive health concerns that I had to address. And so just had a lot going on, but my mom came into town and thankfully everything went well, and my mom and I got to hang out for the week and actually like do a lot of fun things around LA. We hung out at my place most of the time. I had to get some like work done throughout the week, and we took it easy, hung out, and then enjoyed LA. And it was really fun because I feel like unfortunately my parents like don't always get to experience my life. It's really special when they can, because I'm obviously from Virginia, but went to college in St. Louis, so like 15 hours away. And then after college, came home for a little bit and then moved to Japan for 2 years. And unfortunately, they couldn't come when I was living in Japan, which is totally understandable. It's literally such a trek, and it's very different. It's very expensive, one, to get there, expensive once you're there. And it's like, you know, I didn't have a car, so the expectation would be like, okay, like you'll have to take public transportation. So like my life has always been a little bit complicated, and it was great when I moved home after Japan and spent a few years in Virginia, because I feel like my parents were a part of my life. Like almost every Sunday we did family dinner with my siblings and significant others, and I loved being home in my area, but there wasn't a lot for me to like grow, and you know, like the ceiling was only so high. So it's really cool, like now that I'm in LA, I feel like it's like, I don't know how to describe it other than like I'm in a new exciting chapter that feels young and fun, even though I'm literally 31. But I'm like, I feel like I have the adventure of a lifetime happening, but I also like have money. Like I feel like when I was in Japan or in college, it's like, okay, I wasn't always broke, but it was like, now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, I can like show my mom a good time, and I can be like, yeah, I can like host somebody. So I don't know, it feels grown, it feels adult, it felt really good to be able to have my mom here and like truly host her. Okay, let's hop into questions from you guys. Okay, we got a lot in a little bit amount of time. Okay, somebody asked, how are you? I'm doing really good. I'm living. Somebody said, again, the elephant in the room. Okay, a lot of these questions are definitely about Justin. Let's ease into it. Let's do something a little more lighthearted first. Damn. Somebody asked, what's the best way to get cast on reality TV? I think you just have to like scour the internet for casting directors, and whatever show you're trying to get on, apply, like do the application process, and then just like reach out to any casting people that you can find online. I feel like if you're resourceful, you'll probably be able to like figure that out and find people. On Instagram, there's a lot of casting directors that like talk about their job, and they like use Instagram to like find people. So that's one way to do so. I think if you're looking for like a way to stand out, I think the best thing you can do is like be authentically yourself, and whatever that is will be the right thing for somebody. Because like even if you're like low-key a prude, like there's gonna be a role for you on a show, but don't try to be like some boss ass girl if you're like a prude and you're like, oh, I need to like be this boss girl to be on a show, because like that's just never gonna like read authentically. And I feel like I have people all the time that ask me like, can you help me get on The Bachelor? Can you help me get on The Bachelor? And I'm like, honestly, like I can point you in the right direction of people, but like if you are like reeking of desperate to be on something, and that you're like, oh, I'll do anything, or like just the desperation of like needing to be on something, I think that's gonna like rub people the wrong way. I think the best thing you can do is like show up authentically as yourself. And if it's one specific show you want to go on, reach out, put yourself out there, show up to castings. And then there's really only so much you can do. But other than that, I would say stay open-minded and like apply to other shows, because there's gonna be an opportunity for you if you want there to be. If you put yourself out there and you just are truly authentic. Somebody asked if I would ever be Mormon. No, I don't think I would. I think that probably the hardest part of like faith and spirituality for me in general is faith and like really believing like what it is, like the stories and like the word and the gospel. Like I waver on like my beliefs and being like fully like, yes, I fully believe this 1000%. And I feel like I'm not like super exposed to Mormonism, so it doesn't seem like something that I would like go out and seek to become, because it would feel very hard, one, to waver from my own current beliefs, but also to like go seek something out and be like, oh, I want to try this new religion. I just don't think that would happen. Okay, like every other question, not even, more than every other question is about Justin. I'm sure you guys have seen online, we both went on Almost Famous. I did a podcast episode on Live, Laugh, Lies, where at the very end of my very first episode, I actually address Justin and I. So if you guys want to see some like never before seen footage of Justin and I that kind of like shares what, you know, our relationship status, you can go watch that episode. But yeah, we aren't together. And I was talking today to Dave Neal. I think he's dropping the video tomorrow on his YouTube and his podcast, but it's really like hard to navigate a public relationship. I think nobody wants to like have to address their personal life publicly, unless it's like all just like fun. You know what I mean? Like if you're getting engaged, if you're like having a baby, if life is good, if things are joyous, like of course it's like easy to share the highlights of your life, but nobody really wants to share the lows or like the hard stuff. And so obviously when Justin and I were breaking up, it was like, you know, there's so much love there. There's like, it was a really hard decision for us both to be like figuring out what was the right choice. I think as you get older, you just realize like there's like compatibility things. There's like just things that work out and things that don't work out, and relationships that work out and relationships that don't work out. And it's better like at this point in life to be like, okay, let's have a conversation. Like, does this actually make sense? And I think it's just been really confusing and hard. So like we didn't want to share with people for so long because then it becomes very real. And we never wanted to like make a big post about it or anything like that. It's just never like we didn't meet on the show. We met in real life, and so we've like handled it as we would in real life, where you just kind of like phase people out of like social media. But I understand people are like really curious, and we have not meant to leave people hanging. It's just that like once we put it out there and we say like, yeah, we're not together anymore, then it feels just like very official. And yeah, so that, like, obviously we're on great terms. We love each other. Who knows what'll happen? There's so much love there. But that's really all I can say about it, just because we want to be respectful of privacy. And I also feel more comfortable like saying it here, just because before we hadn't announced it, and like now it's like out in the podcast world, so I feel more comfortable. Somebody asked, what is your diet, exercise routine, any skincare must-haves? Your skin is flawless. Thank you. That's so nice. Honestly, it's probably a filter, but I have to say, like a good cleanser, I use a really basic like CeraVe. I also use this cleanser from Pavese. And the reason why I use that one is because it's meant to get sunscreen off of your face. Like some cleansers don't get all the sunscreen off, and then your pores get clogged, your skin ages faster, all those things. So I kind of go in between CeraVe and Pavese, but depending on my lifestyle, I'll just kind of use whatever kind of clean, gentle cleanser. I use Kiehl's like midnight serum. I sometimes use their nighttime serum, and then like a midnight recovery. I'll use like vitamin C's, and I don't necessarily feel like super partial to different products or brands. A lot of times brands will send me products to try, and so like I've used a lot of different vitamin C serums. I always wear sunscreen. I feel like that is a really big one. Pavese has a great sunscreen. If you're looking for one, I highly recommend it. It has no white cast, but I don't always use that one. I do love it though. And then I think like that is just like one of the biggest things that for me, but I think my skin would be so much better if I wasn't such a freckly girl, because I think that's what like gives the illusion of like like aging for me is like I have like dark spots from just being freckly. So I can't say that my skin is actually flawless, but that's very nice of you to say. As for diet and exercise, I feel like I've always just like been on a journey with this one. I try to just like eat healthy, consume healthy foods, but I'm not gonna lie, I just ate a crumble cookie. And that's okay. But I'm currently like paying for a trainer, and my goal, my focus is to build muscle. So like he's been having me eat so much more food than I normally would. Like I know it can change and fluctuate, and like nobody should follow a specific like diet or whatever. And like this is not from my trainer, this is just me trying to get more protein, and it's like eating 2 eggs in the morning along with another protein source like a turkey sausage or a chicken sausage or something like that. I've been like either eating it like that with a piece of like Dave's high protein bread, or I've been doing like an omelet with like vegetables in it. I've been trying to eat vegetables with like almost every single meal. So like kind of basic, like easy ones. I'm doing like chicken, rice, and like literally frozen vegetables that I heat up. And I'm just like finding like kind of yummy sauces to put on these things. I feel like my body is changing like wildly. I actually really hope that I can share this journey with you guys. I took like before pictures and videos, I've been like taking some progress pics and stuff like that. And I feel like just so much better and so much more confident in my body from working out, with the focus being like muscles. Obviously like my goal is to like look good, like and feel good and be healthy, but like just building muscle is like the number one thing that I said I wanted to do, is like build muscle, focus on my legs. I feel like as you age, it's really important to build muscle as a lady, as a feminine woman. It's super important. So yeah, I think that it's like my diet's been pretty basic, but focusing on getting my protein in. I just bought more protein powder. I'm actually like taking creatine, like a small amount of creatine. And what else am I doing? I still eat my sweet treats, but I'm like trying to be better about not sweet treating it up so much. But yeah, just focusing on high protein snacks. I have like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, like protein shakes, like things like that. I'm just trying to keep those like top of mind and in my fingertip spaces, just for things like that. Somebody asked why things didn't work out with Clayton. I think again, it comes down to compatibility. For him and I, we were just very different people. We have a lot of respect for each other, and yeah, we are on great terms. He's an awesome person, very kind person with a very genuine heart. So lots of respect and love for him. All good vibes over there. We just weren't compatible in a relationship. Somebody asked if I would ever do Bachelor in Paradise. Probably not, if I'm being honest. Like if I'm really thinking about it, if next year Bachelor in Paradise comes around and I'm literally single, like so single, I might just be like, let's go. Like why not? Maybe, I don't know. But I just like probably won't. Like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, probably not. I feel like it's so hard because I'm like, yeah, it's a fun experience. And like maybe it'd be fun to get back into the Bachelor world, but like I just really don't think I would find somebody to marry. Don't want to sound judgmental because I know a lot of these guys are really nice people and guys, but I feel like I just like wouldn't trust people. I would be like, wait, are people like here for the right reasons? But I just think I would be so paranoid of somebody being there and like using me as a stepping stone. Like just because of the nuance of reality TV. Like it's so horrible to say. I feel like icky even saying that, but I'm like, I would be so afraid to go on Paradise and get used by somebody and come out thinking like, oh my God, I found somebody, like, you know, whatever. Obviously people that come out as a couple like get attention and they get followers and they get whatever, and like that's a great, beautiful tool and that's wonderful. But like if somebody did that for that reason and then dated me for a little bit and then like moved on after they got what they wanted, and unfortunately I just think that's like so possible in reality TV. That's just the truth. So I don't think I've had enough therapy to successfully go back to Paradise and like believe in people. And to be honest, I don't think I've had enough therapy to go back to dating and believe in people. I think I'm still just in a place where I am like figuring out a lot of like core values and non-negotiables and things for myself that I'm like, yeah, I'm just like not ready yet, which sucks because I'm 31. and I really want to be ready, but I need to feel very confident and very secure with myself and all of that before I jump back into dating. Somebody asked, would I consider being the Bachelorette? And honestly, I feel the same about Bachelorette as I do Paradise, where I just wouldn't trust anybody. I don't know why, but I just like, okay, so to be fair, like this is me spilling some tea from my personal life. I dated a guy for a little bit that I felt like he really showed off the fact that he was like dating a girl from The Bachelor. And he was just a normal person that I met in the real world on a dating app. We started dating. He had a personal private Instagram. Like he was not like trying to get famous or anything like that. Not that I'm like gonna make somebody famous, but he just was a very normal guy. And when he did share like on social media with his friends and followers, you know, people that he knows, so many people DM'd him and were like, oh my gosh, you're dating Susie from The Bachelor. I love her. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And like I sat across the couch from him and watched him like smiling at his phone, like replying to messages. And there's a part of it that's like, oh, that's so sweet. Like you're proud to be with me. But then it's like, okay, are you proud to be with me, or are you proud that you're dating Susie from The Bachelor and like all the girlfriends that you've had from your life are talking to you now? Is that me being toxic, or is that me being like, And I would say like that alone was not enough to be like, oh, that was kind of weird, because it's exciting, whatever. But there was one night we went out with a group of friends and he was like, hey, I'm going to invite my friend Chelsea, or whatever her name was. I'm going to invite my friend Chelsea out with us. She's so excited to meet you. And I thought, okay, cool. Like, I don't like love when my boyfriend has a girl best friend, or not that it's her best friend, but don't love when my boyfriend has like a girl that's a friend, like, but whatever. I was like, okay, cool. Like excited to meet her. That's cool. Like I know people have friend groups. Like I have my guy friends. They aren't my best friends, but they are people that I, you know, might go out with or whatever. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, she comes and she's actually not friends with anybody else that's there from the group. So it's like he is the only other person that she knows there. And she's a big Bachelor fan. And so I ended up like talking with her all night about my experience on The Bachelor. And so when he said that my friend is excited to meet you, I'm thinking, oh, your friend is excited to meet your new girlfriend. What he meant was my friend is excited to meet Susie from The Bachelor. And I got the biggest ick from this experience, because I was like, you invited like a fan? Like, I know that sounds like I don't know if that sounds vain, but like I understand it's like cool. I understand it can be like interesting to meet somebody. And like, I'll be honest, like when I've brought two boys from the Bachelor world home, obviously Clayton, obviously Justin, my family and friends were so excited to meet them. They're people that they've seen on TV. Like my best friends took pictures with them and took selfies with them, but not obviously in a creepy way, but just in a like we loved, like my friends loved watching Justin on TV. They all were like so thrilled when I started dating him, and we're like, oh my God, like we love Justin. And so when I brought him home, like of course, like it's exciting to meet him, but I would never like I would never intentionally put him in a position that could make him uncomfortable. And I don't know, the way that happened, I think it just gave me such a sensitivity to like being used by people post Bachelor life. Obviously not everyone's like gonna use me, and not everyone can like benefit from like dating somebody that's been on reality TV or whatever, a silly thing like that. But it made me really sensitive. So even thinking about like being the Bachelorette or going on Paradise, which who knows if any of those are even options for me, but I'm like, I would be so afraid of like being used. I'm very sensitive about it now. It's so funny, like the things that you don't expect or know. Like you just can't be prepared for the things that happen to you post reality TV. Somebody asked what foundation I use. I use Wet n Wild, dewy something. It's really good. What do you do when you're going through a particularly hard season of life? It's a really good question. I feel like I've had a few of these in the past couple years, and I'm actually trying to get better at how to navigate those times myself. Journaling has become like a really big muse for me. It's been a way to like actually put what I'm feeling out there. Sometimes I can't like write as fast as I think, and I literally will have like conversations out loud as if I'm like talking through like my thoughts, which I know sounds crazy, but like it's such a good way to express what you're feeling and like verbalize it and put what you're feeling into words. I think it's like very therapeutic. My poor therapist gets an earful every time I meet with her, but I think just like being able to like formulate what you're feeling in these hard times is actually really beneficial. So journaling, and it sounds crazy, but talking out loud, go drive around on a long highway, put some music on, and just like talk out loud to express yourself. It's literally sounds crazy, I know, but it feels so good. I'm not particularly somebody that like leans on other people. I actually am like a hermit, and I think that's something that like has affected my friendships at times because I don't like reach out for help or be like, hey, this is what I'm going through. I will tell people and be an open book, like one, if they ask, or two, like after the experience, and I can verbalize it and be like, here's what I went through, here's how I processed it. But in the moment while those things are happening, I am actually just like very like reclusive, if that's the word. Like I'm a lie under the blanket and like spiral in my head and not talk about it person. So I'm trying to also figure out how to navigate those things better. But I think treating yourself well is a really good start. You know, making your bed in the morning, it sounds silly, but every time I make my bed, I literally say like, you're making your bed because you're a high quality person and you do high quality things. And that includes taking care of yourself and making your space clean. And so when I get into bed at night and my bed has been made, it just feels like my life is a little bit more put together. So there's little things that you can do to just like make your life better, whether it's working out, eating healthy, journaling, making your bed, doing a little cleanup before bed. All these things can lead to more productive, healthy vibes amongst yourself. And I think that as you do those things, if you tell yourself, I'm doing this because I love myself, or I'm doing this because I deserve to live in a positive environment, like it's really important the verbiage and the words you use and the way that you talk to yourself. Somebody asked if Justin and I will go into more detail regarding our breakup at any point. Probably not. And I know that's like not what people want to hear, but I just like don't think it's a good idea to like let people in that much. Unfortunately, like you, whoever asked this question, you might be a good person that's not going to weaponize this and use it against myself or Justin, but a lot of people online are like kind of horrible sometimes. And no matter what we said, even if we only ever say we love each other so much and like it was a really hard breakup, people are going to take that narrative and be like, you guys don't know how to stay in a relationship or work through things and blah, 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 blah. Like people are always going to find a negative. So I'm at a point, and I think Justin's at a point where it's like the less we give, the better right now. Okay. Some people ask more questions about the secret lives of Mormon wives. Do I think Dakota cheated? Oh my gosh, I'm not finished fully with season 1, so I don't know like what to think exactly, but I mean, here's my deal. I think it's hard to watch the season because I'm like, okay, obviously Taylor, it's like frustrating because I'm like, Taylor, he's like wanting to commit to you. I don't think they should get married, but like it seems like he just wants some reassurance of like I want to be with you too, or I want to make this work. Like he's just looking for some kind of validation, and she doesn't seem to be like giving that to him. And we're not seeing all of their like fights. Obviously, they're not showing that on the show, but it's hard to watch because I'm like, dang, like I feel like Taylor's like not willing to like give him verbal, validation, and she's not willing to like show up for him in a lot of ways, where he's just being like, I just need you to like be in this with me. But I'm going to be so real. If somebody lied to me about sleeping with somebody the way that he did at the beginning of their relationship, even if they weren't dating, but if he lied to me about, hey, I'm going to somebody's house, a guy friend's house, and then he went and had sex with somebody else, you're done. I literally would be out so fast. Yeah, I would not have pursued the relationship. Like, I just think that if you're gonna lie, I'm not interested. Point blank, period. That is my personal take. I could work through a lot of things, but I can't work through lying. So I actually get where she's coming from. But my issue with it is that instead of like ending the relationship when he lied to her, she kept going and then like holds it against him. So it's really hard. I don't know if I think Dakota cheated. I kind of like don't think he did. I think they're like wanting us to think he did. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't think he did. Who are my favorite ladies from Mom Talk? Okay, let's see. Obviously, Macy Neely, number one. That is my girl. Crazy long story short, I interviewed her for the podcast, Live, Laugh, Lies. It's up now. Go watch it. She's so beautiful, kind, funny, like talented, smart. I love talking with her. She is amazing. But on top of that, I was tagging her in something the other day and I noticed, I was like, her last name is Neely. And I thought, I have a friend with the last name Neely that was Mormon from Salt Lake that lived with me when I was in Japan. We lived in the same complex. And I was like, that's like so crazy. Like that would be such a small world. And then I like went to Macy's page and I saw her husband and I was like, he looks a lot like my friend from Japan. And I saw that they follow each other, this guy from Japan and then Macy and Macy's husband. And I was like, oh my God, there has to be a relation. So I messaged her and was like, are you related to Nate? And sure enough, they're related. It's her husband's brother. Such a crazy connection. But just such a small world. So love Macy. I'm her biggest fan. I also think that I just really like Jessie. She's like kind of, I don't want to say messy in a bad way, but she's kind of like pokes the bear. And I think it's like very funny because she does it with like a smile on her face and she just seems very real. I really, really like her. I met her in person and she was so kind. Layla also so freaking kind. There were like I met a lot of the girls at a Hulu party and they were so freaking sweet and so beautiful in person. Michaela, beautiful, so cute and sweet. I like a lot of the girls, but those are like some of my favorites. Okay, people are curious about my thoughts on the finale for Jen's season of The Bachelorette. Oh my gosh. Where do I start? Okay, so Jen has Marcus and Devin as her final two guys. I do feel like she was kind of more into Marcus than she was Devin, which I think was probably really hard for Devin to watch back and be like, oh wow, like I might have been a second choice. But I don't know that I would say that like confidently, but maybe more so just like she really wanted Marcus to be able to get there so that she could have a full picture of like, okay, I have two men that want to be with me. What am I going to do? And I don't know. I kind of feel like, I know we all know now that Jen proposed to Devin, which I thought was cool. I felt like, if I'm being completely honest, I think Devin thought that it was Marcus too the whole time. And I feel like if you go back and actually watch some of the scenes like where he was like looking for validation from her, I low-key feel like he was looking for like reasons to leave. Like several times I feel like he was like, I just don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know. I feel like he was like making a plug for himself the whole time to be like, oh, I can get out whenever I want because like I'm putting it out there that I'm not so certain about this. And my take, I've said this and I know it's so bold, but I'm like, I really think he thought it was Devin and that he was gonna like play his card so well that like he was gonna get the heartbreak edit and then become the Bachelor. I really think that Devin might have thought that. Which is such a conspiracy theory. I know people know that when you get towards the end, like there's a chance you could become the Bachelor, the Bachelorette, but like genuinely, I don't think people go in like as calculated as that. Like I think you are there and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, how the hell am I here at the end? Like you don't really realize how far you are. Then you're like all of a sudden at the end. So maybe I'm being too like conspiracy theorist with that, but like there were different moments throughout this season where I was like, I feel like Devin is like kind of looking for a way out, but maybe I'm toxic for thinking that. I don't know. I know a lot of people were really upset that Jen had to watch back the proposal. I think I saw an interview where Jen said that she was like, oh, like I already knew I had to watch it back. Like it wasn't a surprise. Or maybe she said that she wanted to even, I don't know. But I remember thinking like, it didn't feel like it was a huge deal for her that she had to watch it back. But it did feel like, you know, the mass majority of people were like really upset about that. But I think like it would have made more sense just to have shown the proposal a part of the storyline and then have people come out and talk the way they normally do. I think the fact that they saved it for the end just like left us feeling very uneasy at the end of the season. And so people were like, this is so icky. Like, why are they doing this? And I actually agree completely. I'm like, they should have just played it first, not made it a big deal of like, are we gonna see it or are we not? Like, just play it like you normally do and show the breakup like you normally do. I feel like that's very, like par for course with this show is like people get engaged and then they break up before the finale. So I understand that they were trying to do something different, but I think it backfired on them. Although maybe they're under the pretense of like all publicity's got good publicity right now. A lot of people are also asking like, what are my thoughts on Jen and Devin post breakup? It's messy. It sucks. I'm just like, I feel like for everybody, I'm like, let's just stop talking about it because it's not doing anyone any favors. Maybe Jen, because like, you know, she's coming out looking squeaky clean after Devin posted that video. Not to say that she wasn't squeaky clean, but you know what I mean? It's like, the more Devin does, the more I think it's actually going to hurt him, is how I see it. I think he should have just like never posted that video, here's the first things first. Never, ever, ever share intimate text with somebody. You already are going to lose credibility and lose like, people are not going to trust you and they're going to be like, this is really icky. So that was like a huge major mistake for him, but it's all good. Let's forget about it and move forward. Unfortunately for him, I don't think he'll ever be like invited to paradise or anything like that, because I think that by doing that, it just like, when you take the mess off the show, it actually like really, I think, affects your ability to come back, like welcomed back. But I don't know, maybe they will want him back for like drama purposes. I don't know. But that's my personal take on that. I feel like it's just kind of like, ugh, it's tough. Oh my gosh. Somebody said, do you thread or pluck your eyebrows? They're always perfect. It's so funny because they might look perfect online, but if you look up close, they look crazy. Let me just come show you. Oh my God, this is not a pretty angle. Here, we're gonna do it this way. Oh, it's so bright. Okay. Actually, I did them today, so they may not look that crazy. This might have been bad choice. They're colored in right now, so it's hard to tell. But like, I have so many like stray hairs. I actually was just thinking today, I was like, I really need to like find a brow girl to help me, because I feel like my eyebrows are madness most of the time. But they do have like a strong shape. They're thick and they have a strong shape, so I think people think they look good, but they're constantly like, I have just hairs growing everywhere, and I kind of shave them. I don't wax. I used to wax, but I don't wax them. I mostly use like a face razor and just kind of clean them up around it, because I don't really know what I'm doing. So plucking, like waxing just seems like not the right choice. Somebody asked if I got lip injections. I actually did. I got lip injections right after the show. I got a very small amount, and I still feel like that was like not amazing. Like I liked it for a split second, and then I was like, oh my God, it's too much. And then they kind of just wore off over the last 2 years. And then I got lip injections again this year. And very similarly, I actually immediately didn't like them. I feel like she put a lot of the filler at the front, and I, again, got the smallest amount you can get, which is still like expensive, but I got the smallest amount you can get, and I had it like right at I feel like she put it more at the front, and I'm like, I wish it was just like more full throughout, but I'm just like not gonna touch it and be like, okay, cool. Somebody said, I thought you said 1 year in LA. Are you staying now? I think, yeah, I think that I originally did. It's kind of crazy. I did actually originally say like, I'm going to try it for a year, but like now I'm well past a year, and like, honestly, yeah, I love it. It's been so good for me. Like my career has been really good. My life is really happy. I feel like I'm just getting started, if I'm being honest. I don't think I'll stay here forever, but I also said a year ago that I was only for a year, so who knows? Okay, this is a good one. It says, curious what you learned from your 1 year relationship with Justin. Relationship habits, wants, needs, etc. That's a really good question, because it's not just asking what happened. I think like the things that I personally took away from the relationship for myself is like, I need to be a better communicator about my needs, because I expect people to be mind readers. And I think that's probably like, yeah, it's a bad trait of mine that I need to work on. And I don't think that that's like the reason why we broke up or anything like that. I just think like post breakup, reflecting and working with a therapist, like a really good therapist. Like I've worked with therapists before, but like post breakup, I actually was recommended to an incredible therapist. Absolutely phenomenal. I feel like she's changed my life already. And one of the things that like I've really discovered, which I'm laughing, but I'm like, yeah, I think in general, I have these expectations of people that I don't even like announce. Like I don't even say my expectations sometimes. I just assume that people like think or believe the way that I think and believe, and that's just not the reality of the world. So that's a big lesson. And I think I have a hard time with confronting those things. Even outside of like personal relationships, even in work relationships, I have a hard time confronting somebody with my needs because I hate to feel needy. That is like a huge thing for me that I realized, like, I never want to feel like a burden. And so yeah, that's like a big thing that I've learned in the 1-year relationship and like now with reflecting. Somebody said, how did I develop self-confidence? I need tips. Okay, you should read this book called The Confidence Code. I read it probably 5 years ago, and it's these 2 girls that, it's like a real book. It's not fiction. It's like based in science, but they like go study confidence and they interview people about like how to build confidence. It's interesting. It's something you can grow. So if you need help, like, don't worry, you can grow it. And I did too. And for me, I always say like the things that really like help me build confidence. 1, putting yourself in positions to grow. So like, I think as a teenager, being in pageants, although there's like a lot of toxicity in pageants, there's also a lot of benefits. Like you walk into a room full of beautiful women and you know nobody, you're by yourself. You have to be able to go up to those people and put your hand out and shake their hand and be like, hi, I'm Susie, nice to meet you. And like just recently I was at a pickleball tournament where I didn't know anybody, and it's all women, and I like everyone seemed like they were friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? And I remembered, I was like, this feels like when I was a little girl, and not a little girl, but a teenager, and I was in pageants, and like you don't know anybody and you just have to go introduce yourself. And like putting yourself in a position to be uncomfortable where you're like, okay, I don't know anybody, how do I navigate this situation? And you just do it. So putting yourself in positions to grow, putting yourself in outside the comfort zone, allowing yourself to fail, that is a huge thing. Like I used to be so afraid of failure, and ever since reading like a whole series of books about confidence and like self-esteem and, you know, success, I've learned failing is one of the best ways to like grow as a person. So same thing with growing muscles. Like if you do a rep, if you like do a movement when you're working out to failure, that's how your muscles like grow. So it's the same thing with confidence. Like if you put yourself out there and you like get up on stage and you fail at giving a speech, or you fail at like some project that you were the lead of or whatever, of course we don't want to fail. And of course you get to a point where like there's certain things you can't fail at. Like you're like, I literally need my job. I can't fail at my job. But when you put yourself in this position to take on a little bit more, to do a little bit more, it's like you're gonna have little downfalls. You're gonna have little failures here and there. And like, it's not whether or not, like you having confidence has nothing to do with like you being able to achieve something. It's like knowing that if you can achieve it or if you can't, you're gonna be okay regardless. And that is confidence. So you gotta put yourself out there. Okay, other than every single person asking if Justin and I are gonna get back together / what happened, I think that was most of your questions. Thank you guys for the questions. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you have other questions below. I'll be in the comments. I will be happy to answer them, and then we'll do another catch up, I'm sure, in a few weeks. I want to get back to doing some vlogs. I actually have a lot of vlogs filmed. A lot of them have Justin in them. I may go ahead and just put them up and, you know, call it what it is, a little fun throwback treat from the archives. It's just hard because vlogging takes so much time to edit. And so like weeks have gone by from stuff and I'm like, oh my God, do I just release it anyways? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and sending you all the good vibes. Bye.